it's Riles, and today I'm doing something a little different from my usual content. So as you may know, my Pookie Bear is always quick to help me with anything I may need. So I wanted to do something in return for him. So I kidnapped his dog. Say hi, Jax! Good boy, good boy. While I was spying on him from his closet, I noticed this little shirt in the corner that he hasn't worn in ages, and it's actually a little too small for him. So I thought, oh, what a great thing to do. I can upcycle this for his dog and make his dog a cute little t-shirt. So that's what I did. So I went ahead, took it, and I took his dog, and I got to work.
So, to begin, I first started by taking measurements of this. So I put it on Jax, and then I went ahead and measured that his legs were about 12 inches long, which is what I used for my sleeve length. And then I got a few different measurements for the interior of his shirt, which I ended up just basically doing straight, so it ended up looking like a little girl's dress or some kind of thing like that. But with the elastic that I ended up putting in the waistband, it ended up working better than I think the tapering did, because the tapering was going to be more iffy and more fluctuating, so I think this ended up working quite a bit better. So I went ahead, chopped off the sleeves, pinned it, and got ready to cut that and redo all of that with the sleeves. After that, I went ahead, cut down the sleeves to size, 12 inches long, well, a little bit longer for seam allowance, cut them at a curve so it'll still fit like a normal sleeve. I cut the shirt, and then I went ahead and pinned it all how I wanted to sew it first. So I went ahead, sewed up the sides, and then I was able to just basically sew on the sleeves at the same time by just finagling it a little bit. After that, I went ahead, started up my sewing machine, and got to sewing it. It's basically pretty simple. You just have to sew up the sides, and then you have to pin the sleeves into the side seam, like one on each side, and basically spin it around like a circle in it. If your sleeve holes are big enough, you can stick this underneath your machine with that little slidey out thing on the bottom, but these sleeves weren't wide enough to do that, so I had to just like kind of move it up top to make sure it fit and would sew around all of it. But you'll just want to use a zigzag stitch for this if you're using a t-shirt stretchy material like I am and want to make sure it can stretch.
And while you guys may be wondering if I got permission from him to do this, you know, I don't really need verbal permission from him because I just know what he really truly wants, because we're like soulmates and connected like that, so I don't need it. I just know, okay?
After I sewed all that up, I decided that the best thing to do to ensure that it stays on him nice and tightly was to put elastic in both the hemline of the bottom of the shirt and the cuffs of the sleeves. So I did this so it would like stay on him when he's running around, jumping, doing whatever, and it also ensures that like with any weight fluctuations for him or anything like that, it'll still fit him, so it's going to be more versatile and last longer for him. So I first tried to sew on the elastic in, I guess, the quote-unquote lazy way. I tried to sew it on straight up with a zigzag stitch, but it didn't really work for me. It ruched it weird, it didn't lay how I wanted it, so I ended up still having to sew a tunnel anyway. I just had to seam rip this out, which I quickly discovered, which sucked, but I'm much more happy with the tunnels that I'm more used to. But I wanted to try out a new technique, but it did not work well for this project. For the sleeve cuffs, it's basically the same process. I just kind of hemmed it up. So you know how that t-shirt or sweaters and stuff in general have those like little tighter cuffs? I was thinking that might be enough on its own, but I decided I should add some elastic anyway because I think it would be good practice too. So I went ahead, basically flipped it up over itself and sewed it on the same seam. So there was no new seam on the like top bit of it. I just sewed the bottom up to that seam, and then I put the elastic through that channel. So it's got like short little sweater cuffs, which I think is pretty cute. To put my elastic in my garments, I always just stick a safety pin in one end, stick it through, try to thread it through as soon as the tailing end gets to the end, I pin it there so it doesn't like insert into the channel and then I can't get it out anymore and then I just have to restart. It's a problem. Make sure you keep it there. Then I just thread it all the way through, pull them out, I generally like to just lay them flat against each other and zigzag stitch them on, like with a bunch of zigzag stitches to make sure that my elastic won't break or snap or anything. I know some people like to do it with like a normal seamage, which is totally fine as well. I just don't like how it pokes me personally when I do that, so I think this gives me a less pokey elastic. Once I finished up the garment, I went ahead and wanted to put some vinyl on the back of it to make it more like that kind of cute little jersey thing, so I put his name on the back of it. That's what I wanted to do, right? So I went ahead, I fought with my Cricut, which it wasn't too bad this time. It went on the first time. The only issue I had was getting it to stick onto this material without the iron burning the fabric, without the vinyls going on. I have a love-hate relationship with vinyl so much. But eventually it went on, and it looks cute.
After the dog had been missing for so long, he started putting up missing posters all around the neighborhood. But luckily, I had finished the shirt, so I was able to go ahead and bring it back to him. He was so happy to see Jax nice and safe and returned to him that he didn't even question where the shirt came from or that it could have possibly been from his closet beforehand. Anyway, here's the final product. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave me a like and subscribe. It really helps me out quite a bit. Until next time, farewell!